Welcome, wonderful people, to the Sunday Rune and Card reading. This week we are going to be drawing from the Akashic Tarot, the Crow Tarot and the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. We're going to be drawing runes, and we are also drawing on messages from nature. I have been out walking and tuning into the energetic and the messages that come with that for us of divine guidance. So wonderful people, we have an amazing full moon in Gemini. This is a full moon eclipse. I have uploaded a video about that energetic and the opportunities for new beginnings that this full moon is interestingly offering us. So do check in on that video if you haven't already checked it out. Wonderful, wonderful people. So thank you for joining me. Let's first of all tune in with the messages from nature, and then we will reorganize the table and we will draw the cards and the runes. For anyone who just wants to fast forward to the readings, the timestamps are in the information box below. If you're a phone user, I've put them in the comments as well. And lastly but not leastly, aside from thanking you all for joining me, if you wish to get notifications of any of the readings or the Astro Energy uploads as I do them, if you press the subscribe button and the little bell icon, you should get notifications coming through in your live stream. So wonderful people, what an extraordinary week it has been. We are going through such powerful transitions, but these transitions are all about new awakenings. We are entering a phase of profound new growth, of new beginnings, of new opportunities, but we are not through the upheavals of 2020 yet. So let us draw on the energy that has been really coming through for me in several days from nature. So our first reading is going to be governed by the energy that came through and the messages from wonderful, plain and simple grass. For me, grass is extraordinary because it speaks of resilience. You know, grass will find its way through any tiny crack in a piece of concrete, no matter how much you try and no matter how much you cut it back, no matter how much you put it down, it comes back up. It has a strength and a resilience of its own that I think personally gives us a message of great inspiration. So reading number one, we will be tuning into that energy of perseverance, of resilience. Reading number two, I found this really magical. I was just sitting in my garden amongst the dew and taking some photographs, tuning into the messages that were coming, and there was a beautiful patch of daisies, despite the fact that we've had here in the Northern Hemisphere, certainly here, literally in my location, we've had a couple of really hard frosts, and yet despite that, these beautiful daisies were appearing. And, or as I say appearing, they're still there. Again, there's some resilience, but the message that came through was more than that. It was more than just resilience. I really was taken back to the way I used to make daisy chains as a child. Daisy chains for me speak of collaboration. They speak of connection, of community, of harmony, of our connection, not only actually to one another, you know, reaching a hand out and joining. I mean, I'm going to say metaphorically reaching a hand out, because we can't reach out and touch one another in the way that we perhaps might normally do, but we can still reach out to one another. We can also reach out and connect with all of life, of which we are an integral part. And that is very much what 2021 is about. 2021 is about moving through into an entirely new way of being. It doesn't mean we lose our past connections, but it does mean we build upon them and we build a pathway of unity. 2021, the energetics are all about equality, unity, collaboration, inspiration, innovation, new solutions, unexpected solutions, thinking out of the box, bridging our differences, bridging those gaps. Again, I will be doing uploads about the energetics, the astro energetics for 2021 as well, so do keep a lookout for those. So this will be our second reading, guided by collaboration, innovation, connection. You know, despite a heavy frost, nothing can keep these daisies down. So there's something about holding your vision and knowing that we can work as a unified, collaborative collective and move humanity through into a new dawn, a new way of being. And for me, this full moon eclipse tomorrow really marks a turning point in our capacity to begin to shift into a new age. Now, reading number 3 is actually it's about abundance. Now, all these berries falling off, I just found it extraordinary as I was walking. I've been walking in several different places over the last few days, and I came across these incredible rose hips. These are rowan berries, and these are actually wild cranberries. What I felt so strongly, I've tied them into a little bundle here, but what I felt so strongly was I really noticed how much abundance, despite the heavy frosts, is still available for the wildlife. And indeed, you know, really, these are past their best, but you know, they are still offering food. They're still offering they're resources of the earth. And it really put me into a space of gratitude when I walked and picked these, the rowan berries and the wild cranberries. It was actually on Thanksgiving. And I just thought to myself, you know, this is really a time to be grateful and a time to recognize how much we are given, how much there is around us that we can often fail to see, or that we look and we think it's past its best, but actually it is still there as a food source for the extraordinary wildlife that surrounds us, and also, for me at any rate, inspires me on such a daily basis. So this is about, reading number 3 is about the abundance that surrounds us, and it is about tuning into a space of gratitude for those everyday things that we can often lose sight of amongst the sort of, I suppose, the turmoil of period, when we're in a period of accelerated growth and change, often where it feels as though things are out of our own control. So those are the energies of 3 readings. We will now adjust our space and draw our cards. Thank you so much again for joining me. So wonderful people, the first pack we are drawing from is, oh wow, we must turn that over. This is a pick a card reading. We can't pull out cards that we can see as we go. If that was a normal reading, it would be obvious that that card would be for us. These are very lively today, really wanting to come through. I'm just going to cut and draw for each of the readings now. We're going to draw 2 cards from this pack for each of them. They really have got a lot of energy flowing through, very much wanting to speak to us today, these wonderful Crow Tarot cards. This is the Akashic Tarot. I have really only recently started working with these, and they're, for me, they've been very, very inspirational, actually. Really magical pack of cards, profoundly deep and inspirational messages. Again, 2 from this pack as well. And lastly, but not leastly, we will draw from the Art of Manifestations. And then, of course, also, I am going to put that down as we haven't actually seen it, which is marvellous. And we will draw our runes as well. And that one too. And again, interestingly, 2 of each. These don't have a reverse, so I will just put them in the upright position. Again, 2 of each. That's what I'm hearing. Seems to be a very strong energy of number 2, which is curious. I don't know what that will mean to you individually. It may have some significance. Okay. Wonderful people, you may already know which of these readings is speaking to you. You may have known when we even spoke about the messages from nature that were coming through in my period of preparation. You may wish to actually pause the video now and just sit with these different readings before we emerge into them. Sometimes more than one reading will be speaking to you, and thank you so much for those of you who share in the comments and who are following these readings. Thank you so much for your comments, your likes, your shares, for subscribing. That really does help me to continue to put free stuff into the world. And thank you, just your comments are so honest, and they're so full of integrity, the sharing of your journey, the sharing of your insights. So truly, truly, thank you so much for yeah, just your presence and for being a part of this amazing community, this AZ or emotional health community. Guys, you're awesome. And thank you anyone who is new to these readings. Thank you for joining us. So I will, without further ado, move into the readings themselves. And as I said, timestamps are in the information box below. And if you're a phone user, they are also in the comments. So much love to you all. Namaste. Welcome, wonderful folk, wonderful magical people, to reading number 1. We are first of all going to look at our runes. We have the rune of openings. This is a rune that speaks of new beginnings. It's quite interesting because it actually does sort of say out of darkness into light. So it would suggest moving from a space of maybe feeling a bit of fog around you, uncertainty, lack of clarity, into a space where you have a clearer direction, a clearer awareness of where you're going. This is followed by the blank rune. The blank rune, sometimes the blank rune does say there is only one way to go, but ultimately for me the blank rune is, it's like it's both an ending and a beginning. It's like a pregnant pause. It's a space in time when we are emerging into something completely new. This feels for me as if you're giving birth to something. I don't know whether it's a new face. For some of you, you literally could be giving birth. But one way or the other, something is starting to move forwards that maybe hasn't been shifting, moving forwards at all before. So something is gaining some kind of clarity of direction, whatever that may be. Now we have the energy of grass here, resilience. Now for some of you, I think you have been, or I'm already hearing, experiencing something of a, yes, it's been a lack of clarity, a fog, not sure which way to go. New direction is coming. For others, you're needing to find resilience to create that transformation. There's something, it almost feels a little bit sticky for some of you in terms of that transition, but something is definitely moving forwards. There is a clarity of direction coming. Let's look at our tarot. Okay, so this is interesting. Our first card is the card of imperfection. Let's move our beautiful grass to one side. So this is interesting because, again, it suggests that something hasn't been running smoothly. Let's look at this card first. In our goal-driven world, we can seek to blame whenever things do not run smoothly, and yet it is our imperfections that make our human lives the perfect vessel for the evolution of the soul. Strive to be the best you can be, cherish your mistakes and those of others, and honour the learning to be found in every experience. Whatever hasn't been moving forwards, I think the key to this is also releasing any kind of emotions that have been building up during a period where something either, I won't say it's been stagnating as such. In a way, it feels more like it's sort of been stuff that's bubbling in a pot, or it's been coming to the boil, but it hadn't yet got there. And whatever it is you've been bringing to the boil, I think you're now about to start the cooking, and indeed potentially move forwards to a space where it's kind of good to eat, it's ready to go. But there has been a build up to this. That's what I'm really hearing. It's required resilience on your part, and as I said, for some of you there is still a little bit more resilience that needs to be found into this transition of clearer direction. There's been some emotional stuff that has built up alongside that. Now this card says, if we are unable to acknowledge and talk about our feelings, they stack up and build up like a pressure cooker waiting to blow, colouring our ability to see clearly. This card calls you to acknowledge your emotions and find a way to release them. Write down your thoughts and feelings, and if needed, reach out for professional help. Simply reach out, I think, is the key. The interesting message that's coming through here, I think, as well, is whatever hasn't been moving forwards is going to, but there has been, it's been quite emotionally laden. And, you know, we do build up. That's fair enough, especially in the current circumstances. Lots of things haven't been moving forwards. And astrologically, there's been so many hold-ups. There's been so many planets retrograding that lots of stuff has not been moving forwards. I mean, 2020 has been a year when humanity was basically called to stop in no uncertain terms. However, you know, 2021 is very different. I will be speaking about that. We really do have opportunity to emerge. It is a new dawn. I think tomorrow for me really does mark a period of a new beginning. Actually, this full moon eclipse is very powerful energy for really seeing things clearly. But anyway, back to today and this reading. I do think you're going to find renewed clarity. Now we have, and you're going to move forwards with something. We have the Four of Wands, we have the card of the Chariot. Let's move these over here, I think, actually. Move these up, our little candle over there. And then I'm going to place the two Akashic cards here as well in the centre. So, and I think everything is still in camera. Yes, super good. So we can see everything here. Four of Wands, for me, it's a time when something is about to come to fruition. Something is about to emerge. We haven't quite got there yet. We haven't quite got there, but it is emerging. Something is moving forwards. There's sort of cause for me, the anticipation of, again, it's the anticipation of clarity, of something moving forward. Something is going to emerge. It's like you're on the brink of that. Something is about to move forwards, followed by the Chariot. For me, the Chariot, again, it connects into the resilience of the grass. It speaks of determination, of willpower, the drive for success. I mean, this card says go forwards with confidence. So something that hasn't been moving forwards, I think genuinely, guys, it's going to be. And really both of these are very powerfully positive in terms of a celebration. I almost want to say if anyone in your family, for example, is expecting a baby and the baby's been late, it's all going to start moving forwards. There's something around the birthing of something that's coming through, which is interesting because we then have these two cards here, Initiation and the Count Saint Germain, and we also have the card of birth. Now, interestingly enough, this card is associated with the rune of growth, with the birch tree, which is the tree that sort of symbolizes the beginning of a forest. You know, after a forest fire, the birch tree is the first tree to seed itself. Again, resilience, durability, and the ability to grow from a difficult circumstance and emerge into something new, and indeed literally to bring forth something new. So there's so much positivity here, and it's interesting because Initiation and the Count Saint Germain, this card speaks of more than just an everyday transition. This is a huge transition. It's a transition into a space of higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of awareness. It's interesting because it also says you may let go of something. You may be letting go of a job, a situation, a group of friends, or a partnership, or something of a lower vibration. It's almost as though you can no longer remain connected to something when your own growth is surpassing the lower vibration, and you are moving into a higher space of consciousness. It also says that there is divine timing at work, and there's purpose to this shift and change. You may not know what it is yet, but you have a role to play for the greater collective humanity. Some of you will know what that is, and that for me is really rubber stamping this rune of openings and the blank rune. It's both an ending and a beginning. It's the birthing of something new into the world. Whatever is taking place for you guys in the uniqueness of your own world, this reading is suggesting rather, it's like an uplifting. It's like moving from a space of lower energetic resonance to a space of higher energetic resonance. So it's really interesting. I have some crystals that sit around my table, and I'm really drawn. I'm drawn to this. I just want to bring this in. It's a black Apache tear. I don't know if you can see, but for me, whichever way I look at this piece of stone, there are faces in it. Now, black Apache tears, I'm drawn to it, I think, because it connects to really huge transitions. And it said this is a black obsidian. It's made from black obsidian, that stone of protection. It's a warrior stone, actually. But these tears were said, it was the legend that goes with them was that a tribe was being pursued, the warriors of a tribe were being pursued, and rather than being captured, they leapt to their death over a cliff. And the women of the tribe who went to that space afterwards wept, and where their tears fell, these stones formed, these remarkable stones. Now, for me, a black obsidian Apache tear it helps us to transition often grief and loss and mourning. It helps us to find a way through to the new. It helps us to release emotions, ultimately, in order to transition into a space of the new. Whatever has been holding you up, whatever you may have been struggling with, whatever you are trying to birth into the world, go deep within, find that extra energy of resilience, because this is an uplifting, it's a moving forwards, it's a go forwards with confidence. A celebration will soon be coming your way. This is a big birthing of something. It's not a small transition, it's a big transition. Wonderful people, it feels as though you literally are being uplifted and elevated after a period of sort of sitting in fog, actually not being quite sure which way to go or how to move forwards, whether there have been obstacles in your way, but something is uplifting and moving forwards. And I just wish to honour that transition for you. This feels a very important, pivotal moment, the timing with the full moon eclipse, and as we enter eclipse season, and an extraordinary solstice collaboration of planetary energies as well. Again, I'll do a little bit of a speak about that at some point during December. That also feels like a pivotal turning point for humanity, and 2021 is all about us shifting into a space of higher consciousness. We are moving into a new age and a new dawn. There is going to be a lot happening. So wonderful people, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for subscribing, thank you for your comments, your shares, your likes. You guys are utterly inspirational. So much love to you all. And also for those of you that are new to the channel, I do give away a pack, a first edition pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards every month, and a free private reading. If you want to be in that draw, it is a subscriber offer. You need to be subscribed, and there's an email list to join, just so that we can, just makes it easy for us to draw a name out of a hat. Literally, it's much more difficult trying to go through the entire YouTube subscriber list, but much easier, because we tend to dial a number and then find that person or those people each month. And actually, of course, we are giving away the Astro-Moon diary and journal as well, so for 2021. So yeah, the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon diary and journal. So we'll be pulling lots of names out of hats, and yeah, very exciting and wonderful to be giving away gifts at this time of year. Wonderful people, so much love to you. Namaste. Welcome, wonderful friends, to reading number 2. Our first rune is the rune of movement. This is the bettering of any situation. It's the moving something forwards, something's going to move and gather momentum, but it's the bettering of any situation. We also have the rune of the self. So there's something deeply personal taking place here in terms of a shift forwards. So something in the immediacy of your own world is going to be moving forwards. Tuning in with the energy of these beautiful daisies, this lovely daisy chain. It's really interesting. It's so connected me to my childhood memories, but the energy of this is all about collaboration, of reaching out, of connection in some way. Let's have a look and see what our cards are showing us. So we have a card that says release the past. It's okay not to be okay. We have the card of the Fool, we have a new beginning, and we have the Knight of Cups. We also have the Divine Physician. This is a card of healing, and we have the Garden, which connects to children, sometimes our own inner child as well. So let's look at these cards first. Okay, we have release the past, and it's okay not to be okay. Releasing the past does not mean that we forget, nor does it mean that if something bad happens that this was okay. It means that we make a personal choice to no longer allow our history to dictate and shape our life, both now in our present time and in our future. There is a letting go. There's something about some aspect of your childhood. I mean, this can speak to us about our own inner child. It can speak to us of our childhood. It can speak to us of our own children, even grown-up children. But there's a very powerful message here, tuning into childhood, letting something go that has almost haunted you or clung to you. And for some of you, I think it is to do with, you know, that kind of message. Sometimes we grow up feeling like, I don't know, we have to be happy all of the time. It's like it's not okay not to be okay. And the challenge with that sort of message is that we never quite process stuff, because we're always sort of slightly stifling our own expression. This card says when we feel low or have challenging emotions, we often then feel bad about feeling bad. It's like if we, I don't know, if we feel anxious, we get anxious about feeling anxious, we feel there's something wrong with us, rather than listening to the anxiety and recognizing it's probably telling us something that we need to attend, there's something we need to attend to. So when we start to feel bad because we feel bad, or indeed we believe that we are bad because we're feeling bad, it's another very common outcome of perhaps growing up in a family where maybe emotions weren't readily talked about. And again, not because our grown-ups are bad people, but if they grew up in a world where their grown-ups didn't feel it was okay, you know, this sort of message gets compounded. So if we feel bad about feeling bad, this effectively doubles our emotional load. It extends the way we're feeling. We're feeling something difficult already. When we feel bad about it, it's like an extra emotional load. Now, this card asks you to understand your difficult feelings as guidance, highlighting that something needs to change and that you are entitled to seek support in this if needed. So I think this is a time for you guys when something is being let go of, but it's very personal to you. It's like you're shifting something, some message that you carried. Within that shift, you create an amazing opening. And it's like it's time for a new adventure. It's time to be liberated and released from some kind of internal message. And yeah, to see life as an adventure rather than something that you need to be fearful of. Now, the Knight of Cups is interesting because sometimes this is a bit of a knight in shining armor. It's one way or the other. For me, the Knight of Cups is a messenger. Now, it could be that, I mean, I would say pay attention to your dreams. Sometimes messages come through in your dreams, or a figure will appear in your dreams with a gift, bringing you guidance, showing you direction, showing you healing. You see, we also have the Divine Physician, and this is a card of profound healing. Again, it suggests that someone comes into your world who opens a new pathway for you of healing. It could be that they themselves come in and, I don't know, initiate some kind of creative spark. They bring you an idea. As I said, it could be a figure in your dreams. It could be a real person coming in, and there's no gender attached to this. It could be a he or a she coming in who somehow opens a pathway of new opportunities that takes you on a new adventure. Now, you may know this person already, but it may also be that they are about to come into your world. So pay attention to unexpected meetings. Listen to people who come into your world who maybe offer you that spark of creativity, that moment of guidance. The Divine Physician for me is exactly that. It's a time of healing, someone coming into your life to heal. It can be a teacher, a mentor, somebody randomly saying something that helps you to turn a corner. Someone who in some way, if I connect into the rune of the self, sort of mirrors something for you. Sometimes that happens. They come in the form of someone who creates a mirror, and you suddenly see not just the past differently, but you see yourself differently, and your own self in terms of your ability to move forwards and transition. Very powerful, actually. So yeah, somebody I think is going to be appearing. You may already know who they are. You may also be someone who is going to be reaching out and offer healing to someone else. I think for some of you, it's kind of almost all three. It's like someone comes in, offers you a window of opportunity. It creates a new pathway, a new beginning, a whole new adventure, which in turn leads to you then being able to offer healing to others. It's like a process. I do think it involves some kind of inner child work, or indeed your new adventure may be that you are being led to work with children, or indeed to offer inner child work to others. But one way or the other, this is a healing part of your journey, and it does involve some connection to young people or to the child within you. The daisy chain, there's a reaching out. There is an offer of something coming to you, or indeed of you then offering something also, or a mixture of both. It feels like a wonderful, it feels pretty rosy. It's quite interesting that this is a card that says it is the 5 of Roses in the Akashic Tarot. And there is a rosiness, there's a warmth, a radiance in this reading that feels very, even though there's something to be let go of, and there's something about learning to be okay with not being okay. It's like, get comfortable about being uncomfortable so that you can listen to your emotions. But there is a rosiness here. There's almost a delight in something unfolding. Feels absolutely, it feels completely right and proper. Again, divine timing and synchronicity in terms of whoever it is that comes in as a mentor and teacher. It does feel as though you are offered something, but as I said, it could be that you are also the mentor and the teacher offering something to someone else. Or as I said, a transition where all three sort of happen. You get offered something, doorways open, you in turn actually are then able to offer again. What a wonderful flow of energy. I think that's why it feels so kind of, yeah, rosy. Wonderful people. Thank you so much for joining me. This feels very appropriate given the fact that we are moving into eclipse season. We have a full moon eclipse tomorrow in Gemini. I do see this eclipse season as being really quite a magnificent turning point. Also the solstice, collaborations, planetary collaborations for me. We have work to do, and next year is full of peaks and troughs of new opportunities, but amazing opportunity for innovation. So do check out the videos that I'm posting on those astro energetics. Each month, for anyone that is new, I have a subscriber offer. I give away a pack of, it's the first signed edition pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. I usually give away a free private reading as well, and I will also be giving away the 2021 copy of the 2021 Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon Diary and Journal, both of which have a lot of astro energy information monthly as we journey through next year. So if you wish to be in that draw, do make sure you connect in with that email list, and you do need to be a subscriber. It's a subscriber offer, and watch out for the announcements. I mean, it's so exciting. I will be announcing the winners for November at some point in the next week. Wonderful people, so much love to you. We are living in the most extraordinary times, and we are beginning, I think, to move into a space of a new beginning. Yes, there's a lot for us to come through yet, but it is a space of emergence, and personally I am being shown consistently in my meditations a huge uplifting and emergence of a new space of being in a profoundly positive way for humanity globally as well as for us individually. So wonderful people, so much love to you, and thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to reading number 3. Wonderful people, my dear friends, let us have a look and see what we have. We have the rune of the spiritual warrior. So this is really interesting because this rune speaks of right action, of being discerning in our actions. Let's see what else is showing up, because for me to really get a flavour of this part of the journey of the spiritual warrior, we need to see what else is surrounding you. Okay, we also have the rune of breakthrough. Now the rune of breakthrough is that light bulb moment, that shift in awareness, that time when something becomes really clear. This is a major shift. It can even mean sometimes it means we course correct, sometimes it means we almost take a whole new direction. It's quite pivotal, it's a pivotal turning point. Let's have a look at our cards, see what else we're shown. So, bless your past and internal dialogue. Okay, so these cards are speaking of, I want to say it's almost, this is what I'm being shown. You know how like we peel back the layers? In counselling there's a sort of there's an analogy used where we peel back layers of the onion. It's almost like we peel back one layer and there's always another layer to go. This feels like you've peeled back almost like a final layer. That's connecting for me in with this rune of breakthrough, or that's where you are on your journey and you're letting go of something, you're moving beyond something. It's something that has affected the internal dialogue, the power of your thoughts and words within, in terms of your process of manifestation. Now this really tunes in with abundance. You know, sometimes our capacity to manifest abundance in any area of our life is really affected by our internal dialogue. So let me read this first of all. We all have an internal dialogue within our mind, a constant stream of inner conversation. Is your dialogue kind, supportive and affirming, or is it critical and judgmental of both yourself and others? This card asks you to listen to your inner words and, if necessary, take steps to consciously change your language. Okay, so there's something about the power of our own internal language. I've said it before in readings when this card comes up. When I first started listening to my own internal language, I was horrified. I mean, I'm really, really positive. And yet I found when my mind wanders, I often go back over stuff that is usually stuff when I didn't have a voice. I couldn't stand up for myself. I wasn't able to sort of speak the truth, and it's almost as though something never reached a closure or a resolution. And actually, you know, there's a time when we have to let go of that. This card seems very appropriate. Bless your past, a useful tool to help us to let go of any emotional residue that is still clinging to us from a past experience, is to bless your past. Whenever the memory of an event or person comes to mind, pause and say to yourself, I bless every aspect of my past and I celebrate the contribution that it gave me in becoming the person I am today. It's a very powerful, almost like for me, a little prayer. I have actively used this, interestingly enough, in collaboration with my internal dialogue. Whatever the situation or the person I notice my internal dialogue has returned to, I travel into this zone of, actually, that made me who I am today. I'm a better person because of it. And I thank them and I wish them well. I send them love and I'm moving on. For me, it's become quite an empowered little, almost like little mantra for me. As I said, it's like a little personal space of prayer. Now, we then have, we have the Seven of Cups and we have the card of the Hermit in reverse. So, for me, there is some reflection involved here. There's some choices, some decisions, but I'm really seeing as well, we also have the card of reflection and an increscent moon card, Six of Keys. I'm going to speak about these before we then tune back into the Seven of Cups and the Hermit in reverse. So the card of reflection, it requests exactly that. I mean, sometimes it's interesting because it can suggest a trip, a journey over the water. I actually think it often speaks of journeying within, where we are journeying the internal rivers of our emotions almost. We're asked to listen to our, ultimately, I think, to our intuition, to tune. It can really say that we have access to psychic gifts, to our ability to really tune in and listen to our higher voice, our intuitive self. Now, guys, I'm really seeing a breakthrough moment here. It's either around you or I think it's about to occur. I sort of feel as though what you're faced with right now in the immediacy of now are choices. And those choices require reflection, they require thought, but I would say ultimately they also require that you tune into your higher self and your intuitive self. Really get still and meditate, especially with the full moon energetic tomorrow. Eclipse season is amazing. A full moon eclipse, full moons always illuminate everything we need to see. In this instance, when we have an eclipse, it's like a portal of energy that where we can be shown not only something of our past that may have been affecting us adversely, but we're also shown exactly the window of opportunity and the route to take us forwards and away from it. So this feels very tuned in, this reading, to the energetic of the full moon tomorrow. Now, and it's interesting, in both these cards, in the illustrations, the moon is very present. In the reflection card, we literally, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a full moon in this card. In the increscent moon, again, obviously we have a moon. It's interesting because this card, Six of Keys, this card actually speaks of abundance, which tunes into the message of this wonderful, wonderful bunch of, you know, nature's gifts, the natural abundance that surrounds us. The increscent moon is a card of future abundance. It's a herald of exciting times to come. It literally says, you know, do your work, do your work diligently, do it well, and you know, abundance will follow. Open yourself to receive. But I feel as though what you are being shown here, along with the rune of breakthrough, is that I think whatever you need to see is going to be shown to you. I mean, these are weekly readings, so this is pretty imminent. There are choices around you. That is what I'm being shown. Tune into your higher self, your higher vision. Remove any aspect of your internal thinking that connects to the past. It's like free yourself so that you become a channel for divine inspiration, for guidance. And I think that the breakthrough moment will come. You are being called to, I think with the Hermit in reverse, you're being called to potentially, not only are you needing to evaluate some kind of decision, and there's more than one choice around you. It's as though your situation is quite multi-layered and you're needing to work out almost like which bits to, it literally is, I think, which direction to go in. And again, discernment. You're needing to really, this for me feels like a week of weeding and pruning, where you see what you need to let go of and you make decisions accordingly. Trust in the signs that you're shown. Abundance awaits. That this feels like a pivotal turning point of magnificent shift. And I think this full moon, as it heralds, I think, the beginning, for me, almost the dawning of a new age, the beginning of the transition into that dawning. For you personally, there is work to be done. There are choices to be made. There are directions, new directions to be clarified and followed. What the Hermit card is saying to me in reverse is, yes, you have choices around you. Yes, you are needing to make some decisions, and those decisions particularly align with your ability to manifest abundance in all areas of your life. It's not just one area, in all areas. The Hermit, for me, in reverse, is suggesting, as is the Six of Keys, that you do also need to take action. So for me, there's something about, yes, retreat. I mean, you know, retreat for me is a skill of the spiritual warrior. We need to retreat. We need to get still. We need to meditate. There's an appropriate time to push forwards. There's an appropriate time to review and reflect. However, when we have reflected and when we open ourselves to receive divine guidance, there's also time then to do the work, to take action. The card of the Hermit for me in reverse is saying, look, do the reflection. You know, do this first, but don't remain in a space of retreat for too long. When you are shown the way, you are also going to need to take action as well. So I think for me, this looks to me to be, for you guys, it's like a still week and yet a busy week. It's almost like get still, allow yourself that maximum opportunity to be a channel for information to flow to you. Again, meditating on the full moon eclipse tomorrow. In eclipse season, that energetic is so much around us. Portals of opportunity to receive higher guidance. Open yourself to receive the guidance, but then take action. Do the work. Don't remain in retreat for too long. That's what this card is saying. It's saying, yes, retreat to evaluate, but also take action. It's time, actually, if anything, for some of you to emerge from a space of retreat where you've moved into a meditative state. You have retreated because it's been appropriate, but it's now time to commit to making some choices. Follow your intuition. Let go of anything from the past that has been inhibiting your ability to manifest, and start to also take action. Do your work diligently, because this, I mean, it just aligns so beautifully. It is a card of, it's almost like the promise of exciting times to come that connect to increased abundance, increased growth, increased recognition as well. Sometimes even it speaks of prestige. So there's something really about doing the work, and again, it's doing the groundwork. I don't know that you'll see the results overnight, but it's putting in the groundwork that will then allow you to manifest the success you desire. But you are needing to make some choices, and I believe some things may have to be let go of, including anything within you that, or any inner, as I said, in any stuff that where you ruminate over things from the past that might inhibit that internal space within you to be free and available to receive higher guidance. I mean, for me, this is I wrote a book called 7 Steps to Spiritual Empathy. Didn't do the reading to plug the book, but for me, that is a book that teaches you to listen, to get still, to listen, and to understand literally not only how to listen to yourself, to listen to others, to listen to the signs, and to listen to the way that life speaks to us, to offer us that divine pathway, that divine guidance. So yeah, it's just, there's something of that energy around. So wonderful people, I wish you an amazing week of the initiation of a new pathway of abundance for you. Wonderful, wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me. Absolutely magic to be here with you guys. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I have a subscriber offer. You need to subscribe to do this. I have a subscriber offer. I give away a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, a free private reading, and actually during December I'll be giving away the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon Diary 2021 and Journal 2021, which have got loads of astrological information that guide us through the year. So if you'd like to be in the draw, the link is in the information box below, and if you're a phone user, it's in the comments. And thank you so much for those of you that do comment, and for being a part of this very inspirational AZ of emotional health YouTube community that's emerging. You guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, and so much love to you all. Namaste.